I'd like to, again, thank everyone that made Saturday such a great atmosphere. First at college game day, and then Saturday night in the game against Oklahoma. Really want to thank the athletic department staff for all the work that they put into making it go smoothly and making people so aware that it was a big day for us. That went a long way into helping us win the game in a game where we really didn't start the game playing our best basketball, but I think our guys got better as the game went on, and that helped us win. So just, want to continue to encourage all of our fans to, come out and support us and support our guys, because it means a huge deal to our guys. It makes a big difference. And obviously with the home games that we have left, they're going to be big games in league play, and we certainly will take all the extra energy we can get.
Questions, please? Kansas State is going to be coming here off of a similar situation you guys are in at West Virginia. They just had one of those games. West Virginia just got the best of them. What do you see from them on tape, and what are some areas that you guys have to focus on with them? It seems like offensively, when they get going, they can really get going.
Yeah, they've really put together a great season so far. Coach Weber's a terrific coach, and they've got 3 guys that are in their junior year that have just gotten better and better. Their staff deserves a lot of credit for how much they've developed those guys, and then those players deserve a lot of credit for the work that they've put in. With Stokes, obviously coming back in their last game, and then Barry Brown and Dean Wade. So we've got to do a better job taking away good shots as much as we can, because they really capitalize when they get good shots, when they get good looks at the basket. Wade is shooting a great percentage from outside, and he's obviously a threat inside and outside. I think he had 6 games in a row where he scored over 20 points. So he's really been playing extremely well. Brown is a huge key to their team. He's had some just explosive games where he's been over 30, and has given their team an unbelievable lift offensively. He's also seems like their spiritual leader, just from the standpoint of aggressiveness and energy, and being a leader on their team. And then with Stokes coming back, he is very, very crafty, a great passer. So everything starts with those 3. And then they've got some good guys around them with Xavier Sneed and some of their other guys that have taken on bigger and bigger roles. I think with us, we've got to make sure with whatever defense we're playing that we're very, very aggressive, because they do a great job attacking you if you're not. And then obviously on the offensive end for us, we want to try to get the ball going downhill as much as we can. That's what helped us down the stretch against Oklahoma. Kansas State actually, as a defensive team, is one of the best in the country at taking the ball away from you, stealing the ball. So we got to do a good job protecting the basketball and keep from having turnovers that again, turn into great opportunities for them on offense.
We talked about this last week, but just do you continue to hammer onto the guys about you got to build off? Saturday was good, but you got to keep building. Try to put one after the other and stack wins.
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about that, Brian. It's something that in this league, each game is kind of its own entity, and a lot of coaches talk about just trying to go 1-0, but sometimes you're coming off of a loss and sometimes you're coming off of a win. Our guys have done a good job being very motivated when we've come off of a tough game like we did coming off of Texas Tech, but at the same time, to move forward in the standings and to move up, you've got to string wins together. And so that's the opportunity that we have on Wednesday. It's not going to be easy, but we just want to play better. We want to keep playing better. We want to keep improving. The month of February is such an important month from the standpoint of picking up quality wins, but it's also an important month from the standpoint of getting better and growing as a team. And this is all in the midst of probably the most challenging time of the year for the guys from the standpoint of mental fatigue and just, it being a lot, it being the end of the regular season. So we got to battle through that. We're no different than any other team in that regard. And I think one advantage our guys can really have if we're willing to press that advantage is being better together. It's something that we talk about culturally. Our guys are very close, so they need to depend on each other. They need to help each other. They need to understand that they're all going through something similar. When you do that, it's easier to go do something special as a group.
Coach, you just said this is a challenging portion of your schedule, but having beaten 3 ranked teams in the last month and then obviously coming off the Oklahoma win, what's the confidence level like? The team was always in a different situation last year.
Yeah, I think our guys are very confident in what we can do. The next piece after having that confidence of what you can go do is owning what it takes to go do it. And so there's a Nick Saban quote that these guys probably get tired of hearing from me because it's kind of matter of fact and basic, but it's so true, and that's it takes what it takes. And so Snoop actually just texted me as I was walking in here because I had texted him that we had 33 deflections in the Oklahoma game, which is a good number. And he wrote back, it takes what it takes. So I think their confidence is good, but it's also the next step of understanding we've got to win all the small victories that go into winning and go into going to produce the result that you're confident that you can produce. For instance, the other night at Texas Tech, if we take care of the ball against the press with a little over a minute left in the game and don't turn the ball over, now we got a 4-point lead and they probably got to foul us. So it's great to be confident, but in addition to that, you got to go take care of business and complete that pass. That's just one example. And in the games where we've done that well, we've had a pretty good result.
You look at Dylan the last few games, and I think he's just 4 of 18 from twos.
Yep.
It looks like he's been getting good position. Last game he obviously got to the line, but when he gets down there and he makes that move, is he just not finishing, or why has it been so difficult for him to get finished?
Yeah, that's a great question. Something we actually just had a coaches meeting, and we were talking about that quite a bit. With Dio, he does so many things for us that show up in the stat sheet, but also so many things that don't show up in the stat sheet. I think he is certainly there's an emphasis on his part that he wants to be more efficient in terms of shooting percentage, score more, help the team as much as he can. He's such a team-oriented guy, but he puts a lot of pressure on himself. So I think our job is to help him be confident in understanding here's the process that goes into success. On those moves you're talking about in the paint, he made a couple really nice moves in the second half. He just shot them short. So he's got to get his weight on his inside foot. He's got to jump up and shoot them in and have the belief and confidence in himself that he can do that. He knows that we're behind him, but we've got to keep, at the same time that we're putting confidence in him, we also got to hold him accountable and help him understand you've got to do X, Y, and Z to produce the result that you want to go produce. There's no other way. It takes what it takes. So, yeah, his percentages haven't been great lately, but I think he can turn that around. And I think even in games where his percentages are low, getting to the foul line is a way to kind of balance that out. And he did a nice job of that down the stretch against Oklahoma.
When you see the 14 field goal attempts and then the 10 free throws, I mean, even if the shooting percentage, field goal percentage is great, is that's still encouraging because he's staying aggressive? Well,
he's getting fouled, but they're almost two separate things. You look at the field goals and you say, okay, here's a few that you need to take differently. Not super high on this shot, or maybe shoot this shot a little different, or be more aggressive, use your pivot here. The times where he's getting fouled, those have been really good. We want to continue to increase that. He's a guy that can get to the foul line a lot if he's aggressive.
As we hit the kind of stretch run, how do you feel this team's overall defense, I guess, when we're hitting into tired legs or later into the year? How do you feel like they've responded when you held OU to under a point per possession on Saturday? Do you feel like they're peaking to the right point?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm never really satisfied with the defense. I guess that makes me a defensive-minded coach, but I just think we can continue to get better and better. Our numbers are pretty good overall for the year, but there's so many things we can improve on that we need to work on. The challenge is, I'd love to go out there today and have a 3-hour practice, spend about a half hour on transition defense, a half hour on pick and roll defense, a half hour on one-on-one defense. But, you know, you also have to be mindful of guys playing heavy minutes, guys' level of fatigue, and just making sure that they're fresh when the ball goes up in the air on Wednesday. But I think our defense has been good. I think Oklahoma is one of the best, if not the best, offensive teams in the country. And we had some very good possessions defending them, particularly in the second half. So we just have to continue to get more consistent putting those possessions together.
You mentioned this time of the year is tough for the guys because they're mentally, physically, they got a lot of things going on. Do you change anything you do? I know you're big on communicating. Do you even place more of an emphasis on spending one-on-one time with
Yes.
guys just to talk to them about what's going on?
Exactly. Definitely do. Like today, before practice, I'll meet with Snoop, Matt, and Mo. And then probably after practice, I'll get with Dylan. And then I'm always working on Jericho. You know, those guys. And, you know, there's other guys on the team I get with too and spend time with. Those are the guys that you're probably asking most about just because they play the most. But, you know, it's important to get with James Banks and spend time with him. It's important to get with Jace Febris. You know, he's a freshman who, you know, we're playing and putting in the lineup a lot, and we want to continue to put aggressiveness and toughness in him. But, yeah, I think video, showing guys video with little intricacies of things that they're doing well, that they can do more, or that they can change a little bit. And then sometimes just spending time and talking about how they're feeling, what they think is going to be effective for us, giving them a few things just to focus on.
Speaking of Jace, the last two games y'all opened with a shot, or he's opened with a three. You know, was that by design? And I guess I really thought he would be more involved. You know, and I just wondered. I guess it's just being a freshman. You know, just kind of the ups and downs of his.
What do you mean by more involved?
No. Like I just thought he would sort of click and
Yeah.
have more of a scoring impact.
Yeah, you know, you never know for sure when it's going to click for guys. I mean, you watched the first half of our game against Baylor and it was clicking, you know. But unfortunately, it's not one of those things where once that happens, every game is going to be the exact same. I think he's making progress. Again, he reminds me a lot of a guy I coached at VCU named Troy Daniels, who's in the NBA right now, and just took some time. He didn't really play much for us until his junior year. You know, Jace has started some games. Jace is playing good minutes. But he's not yet doing on a consistent basis what we all as coaches and what even our guys who play against him in practice every day know he's going to be able to do. So what we got to do is continue to work with him, put him in positions where he can be successful. In terms of starting the game, it really you can't design who the shot's going to be for because you don't know how it's going to be defended. So, for instance, I'll tell you exactly what happened on that play. We started the game running a play to get Kerwin Roach off of a ball screen with his right hand going downhill. He did a great job of that. Mo rolled to the basket, and Jace's man helped in the lane. Kerwin made the right read. He threw it back to Jace. Jace was wide open from the left slot, and he rose up and took the shot. We'll take that all day long. Anytime he shoots an open shot, I feel like it's going in. He's got to continue to get more consistent with his shot discipline, but he's one of the better shooters that I've been around. So if we can start the game with that shot or get that shot at any point in the game, we'll take it.
I think Mo kind of had a weird first half in terms of just he wasn't quite challenging everything on defense. Is he
wasn't as good, is what you mean. He wasn't as good. Is he 100% physically? I think his leg was still bothering him some. And Mo, of all the guys on our team, Mo had the biggest adjustment to make at handling fatigue, mental fatigue, physical fatigue, and, you know, in particular, Dustin, handling practice, travel, road game, get back late that night, practice, game, which is what last week was. And he's done a really good job. He's gotten better. But I think this game against Oklahoma was the first game lately, in a while, where that fatigue kind of got the best of him. He even admitted after the game, he just said, I couldn't get my wind. There was that long stretch at the beginning of the game where there wasn't a media timeout for a while. He's like, I just couldn't get my wind right. And then he said, after the timeout, I thought I'd be good, but I still didn't feel great. So, that's, the response to that, from you or someone might be, well, just toughen up. You got to be better. But, I mean, if that's his reality, we got to help him get past that. And like I said, he's overall, if you look at our games, I mean, we've been playing 2 games a week for a while. He's gotten a lot better at responding through fatigue. And then the difference, again, last week was he also had that injury, which was bothering him. He did not practice on Thursday or Friday at all. So that probably had something to do with it.
Maybe this kind of goes into that, but you think Mo's also kind of adjusting to now he's facing guys that are his size, and not only that, he's having guards and wings that are really strong. They've been in your school's weight programs for a while. That are hanging on him. He's hitting the deck probably more than he has in the past. Is that just also like accumulation throughout the season?
It is, yeah, but I'm telling you, it's more mental than physical. It's easy for me to say. I'm not the one playing, but sometimes when your mind feels like there's an accumulation of those type of plays, you can be a little bit dull, and so you've got to be able to clear your mind. And I thought our guys did a nice job doing this during the game against Oklahoma. We were just kind of blunt for parts of that game. We were not sharp. We were not as aggressive as we needed to be, and those guys did a great job flipping it. We were reminding them and hitting them during the timeouts, and they did a nice job coming around, and that's what won us the game. But, yeah, for Mo, the game plan of every team is the same. Be physical with Mo. Try to get lower than Mo, get underneath Mo, try to get him off of his space. So Mo has done a better and better job fighting against that. I think the more physical and aggressive he is, the more calls he's going to get. So he's got to counteract their physicality with his own.
You mentioned the role the fans played in Saturday. Go back to something you discussed in your first year here was kind of there was this anxiety at times from the fans about thinking things are going to go wrong instead of going right. Do you think you guys are still fighting that a little bit, and what can games like Saturday do to kind of push that in the right direction?
Well, I think, part of it is people want to win. I mean, everyone wants to win. Players want to win. Coaches want to win. Fans want to win. And so you would love midway through the first half for the score to be 20-10, and then there's a momentum that gets going in the whole building, and it's like, yeah, this is going the way it should go. But the other team has something to say about that too, and sometimes, it's 20-20 or maybe even 25-20. You're down. But you can still win the game. It's still anybody's game. And so I think for our guys, I've always told our guys, this is going back to VCU where we sold out every game, we're going to use the energy. Let's try to use the energy from the crowd when it's there and when it's a real positive. But we don't control that. What we do is control our own actions. We control if we dive on the floor. We control if we outrun the other guy. That stuff will, if we do enough of those things, will lead to good energy on the part of everyone in the building when it's a home game. And when it's a road game, it will take energy away from those people in the building. And, you sense that the other night at Texas Tech when we made our run and came back, what had been a really loud and boisterous crowd, it wasn't quite as loud. I mean, that's the same way anywhere. So it's our job to just stay focused on what we can control. And then for the fans, and I thought they did a good job of this on Saturday, just staying with us and understanding that even if we're down, I think we're down 9 or so with 7-something left in the game, we could still come back and win. If we're up 9, that doesn't mean it's a done deal. We've got to. We all know that. We got to do what goes into finishing the game.
2 last ones. Was Matt back in the gym for him? How's he handled kind of a week like that?
He's a warrior. I mean, he's got great guts. he's got great stuff inside of him. And my main emphasis to him today when we do our point guard U session is going to be your motivation has been phenomenal coming off of games where you feel like you've hurt the team down the stretch. You responded great to Duke. He responded great to Oklahoma State. He responded great to Texas Tech where he missed those free throws and fouled out. And so I'm going to tell him, hey, you could be just as motivated after a great game against Oklahoma. I love your response. It's terrific. But now what we're trying to build with him, and it's a challenge as a freshman, is consistency. But he really wants to be good. He wants to help the team. And I think his confidence is gaining.
Along those lines, though, I mean, it's a point guard-driven game. I mean, is it hard for a guy to see that? It's like, hey, man, as you go, Texas goes.
He's a smart guy, Brian. I think he knows that. I think he likes that. It's a big part of why he came here. So, but I mean, he doesn't go into any game thinking, I don't want to be great.
No.
He just needs to focus. We tell our guys, dominate the details. And, a big one that they'll hear a lot, over the rest of the year is just the small wins, the small wins. Breaking the press without turning the ball over is a small win because that allows us to get a shot. You may not write about it, hey, they did an unbelievable job breaking the press, but if we can do it and then we get a wide open shot and we score, that goes a long way towards the big victory that we all want. So as a freshman, one of the challenges is in high school, those little things don't matter quite as much because you have more of a margin for error. And he's learning that now they're critical.
That's why I just thought that the crossover move and the three-pointer, that whole 5 seconds right there. I mean, the fans were lulled. Then he makes a move. Then he hits a three. The fans are in it, and then you guys are off and running.
Yeah.
That's like, does he get that? Like, look, you created that whole spark right there.
He gets it, but he doesn't get it. So my point by that is like he understands it on a certain level, but he doesn't understand it like Javon Carter understands it. And he understands it more than he did a month ago. But what he needs to know is at that position, you are the spirit driver in the whole building. You mentioned the crowd. You're driving their spirit too. And that's something that is a shift from when you're being recruited by the likes of the schools that he was being recruited by. It's more about, hey, I'm this Jordan Brand All-American, and I got this many assists, and I won a national championship at Oak Hill. Yeah, that stuff's great. But it's what goes into you being that. And now in college, it's about what you're bringing to other people.
Andrew, go ahead.
You've had some experience in the international kind of contest, more in the summer games, but we've got the Olympics coming up. So do you ever watch the Winter Olympics? And if you do, what kind of intrigues you? What's your favorite sport to watch?
I don't think I've ever watched the Winter Olympics since I've been in coaching. I don't even know when the Winter Olympics are. When I was a kid, I used to watch it. But since I've been in coaching, is the Winter Olympics now?
It's on Friday, yeah.
Okay.
What did you watch when you were a kid?
Well, you remember the movie Cool Runnings about the Jamaican bobsled team? So that was probably my favorite event, the bobsled.